I can.
I wanna go do that. I wanna do
How much
that.
you want for $2.99? How much you want to Best Buy, but I don't know if it's still there. It's fine. Drive. You can come to a library.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, let's see if we are here. Yes, I think we are over there. Yes, let me get the volume going. Hold on. Hold on. This is a little improv here. Let me just get this volume going. Oh no. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh God, hold on. I'm here. And please let me know if you can hear me. Yeah. I hope that everybody can hear me here. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Now they can hear me. Okay. So we are in the TJ monthly. Oh no. Um, I did something there. This is so, these criminals are out of control. Yeah. Sorry about that. Um, they're so out of control. It's not even funny. Hold on. Please bear with me here while I do this. There we go. I just love it. I just love it. You know, everything that we have to live with. So, welcome to the Targeted Justice Monthly Meeting. We are here in the Martin Luther King Library, which is like, it's really nice, but it's almost like a homeless shelter. It's very sad. The smell coming in is just, you know, it's part of the problem in this city. But I'm not going to be ungrateful because we have a great space here to come to you and to be able to. I want to present to you. I'm going to redo the presentation I did with Melissa. And so I just want to, hear your comments and your questions regarding the Privacy Act request. I just want to warn everybody, there are still some impersonators that are promising that in exchange for money, they will take you off the list. It's a scam and it's only to take advantage of you. Don't believe it. It's false. It's fake. I don't know if you've seen it. There's also an impersonator, a targeted justice impersonator on Facebook. It's called Targeted Justice Support. And even though we have reported it to Meta, they don't care. They don't care that there's people scamming you and taking your money for nothing at all. So just be a little bit more clever. TIs normally are very paranoid about trusting anybody. And I don't know how they just like completely trust someone that says, just give me money and I'm going to take you off the list. It's just, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, do you want to go around the table and say hello?
Whitney Kemmer, Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Jonathan Bowers, D.C.
Rick Cephas from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Well, I want to cover a little bit and have your questions. We were talking about the Privacy Act request, and the importance of it is that at this time, as we know, Kash Patel has says that he kicked down the prohibited access files door, and that hi, how are you? Okay. Okay, you can just. We're starting with a Privacy Act request that we are working. Yeah, I'm like you. I carry the essentials, and it has to be that way, unfortunately, because even though as much as we secure our homes, the criminals are still aggressively breaking in, and it's something that we need to every day send a letter Address, Mari, is we are in the Martin Luther King Library, which is, what's the address here?
901 G Street.
901 G Street Northwest. So I hope you make it. Yeah, I'd really love it if you make it here. This group is very important because I really need some of you to make it with me. I know we have the same problem of, leaving the house. It's really painful and it's like an anxiety, I have to use that security tape and I know we can't live that way, but hey, if I've been knocking on doors and I would really appreciate it if I could have some people go with me, but I realize it's a full day thing though. I mean, it's like walking and going here and going there. Okay, so for those of you that live in this area, I understand that for you is hard to do, but well, for those of you that can make it with me, I'd really appreciate it. This week, I'm gonna be going to a couple of hearings,
Okay,
and we need to, I need to have like a backup.
okay.
Because what I did this week was, I went to this hearing and I tackled somebody and I said, you have to. And that's just the way we need to work it, like a tag team kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because for me alone, I can do it, but I think it's more efficient, better if there could be at least two of us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so for those of you that are interested, I wanted to talk about the Privacy Act request because, as I mentioned, we're gonna see if Mr. Patel is made of what he said he was, that he was going to kick down those doors. We already know that people are being denied their appeals. So we know that the people that are working, the minions, Michael Seidel's employees, minions at the FOIA office at the FBI are doing exactly what he did, which is deny information. But I want to go through the presentation again because I sort of added to it and I wanted to show you I wanted to show you the text of the, because it's not a FOIA, it's a Privacy Act.
Right, right.
And so the remedies are different from FOIA.
Yeah.
Like Privacy Act even gives you the right to get damages for if they don't reply to it, and if they don't allow you to see. Basically, you have the right to go see your records, okay? And what I would like to see is to make little groups of people around the nation and file a lawsuit, which I will help them draft.
Okay,
Okay, that's what I expect to do,
okay,
because we cannot put all the eggs in one basket,
okay.
because we've had the experience that, just one judge will
Right.
alliterate,
Different venues.
but different venues give more, it's like a lottery, it's more opportunity.
Okay.
And so with the Privacy Act request, what they're supposed to do is open the doors to you and show you
You're
the
right.
records. And the law is very clear on what they cannot show you, which is law enforcement, like an ongoing investigation or documents in preparation of litigation. And they have to allege that that's exactly what it is. Let me just add this to the stage and so basically, here it is, Privacy Act,
1974.
yeah,
Texas. Right.
yeah. The agency that maintains a system of records shall, upon the request by any individual to gain access to his records or to any information pertaining to him which is contained in the system. Any information, notice how
Any,
broad,
and shall.
exactly,
Not may.
shall, it's not may,
Yes.
it's shall. Contained in the system. What we know is that the FBI is limiting their searches to the central record system, which is like a little division of their entire Sentinel system that contains all the information, all the damning information for them. Okay, so and you have the authority to go in there with a person of your own choosing. It does not have to be an attorney to review the records and have a copy made. The Privacy Act is not authorized. They can give you a copy electronically. It does not authorize for the agency to charge you for your file, for the files they have.
Privacy, it's not, they're not allowed to charge you.
It's
they
not
did
like the
before.
FOIA.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't have to ask for exemption of fees because it's not like the FOIA. You have yours ready? That's, yeah, okay, oh, this is great. This is, yeah, okay, so if you go in the Targeted Justice website, let me just show you. Last night I worked on a, let me just put it here, on improving it in preparation for today.
Okay.
So I worked on improving it, and here's what under legal, you see Privacy Act and FOIA. I'm gonna share it with everybody so you can see the tab. And so I put in there what I'm gonna be talking about. Share screen. It's all of it is in the website. Information is power, okay? This is an example which might be a little bit of overkill, which this is what I used for myself, okay? And the reason why, I'm gonna just explain to you in sections, okay? Go look at the sample, at the updated sample that I have here, down here. In the targetedjustice.com Privacy Act, a legal Privacy Act, there. In the section that says Privacy Act Request Example. And what I put in there is the first section is your identification. Many of us, for example, you've had 3 different emails during the course, or 4 different emails during the course of this. And then you're gonna say, well, I don't want to give them my email. They already have it, okay? And so you put your name. Many people have been married and divorced, so all the names. Yeah, like for example, for me, it's Ana Toledo, but I also use my middle name, Ana Luisa Toledo. So I put in there all those names, okay? You want to put all your names and your last 4 of the Social Security. And I put in there the assigned terrorist screening center number. Why? Because we know that when they send the list, let's say to wherever they send it, they don't send it with our names. They send it with an identification number that they have assigned to us. So that's why I put it there as the last alternative, and you should put it too.
And so we want to get groups, like 5 or 6 different groups to do this in different jurisdictions.
Yeah, I already have somebody from LA.
Okay.
In California, I have Marlena and I have Miguel. Marlena's was denied, and the idea is to get, and the reason why I want 3 or 4 is because I need for you to pitch in, and this is really important. If you file, first of all, it has to be filed in federal court. You cannot file against the FBI and DOJ
In city court.
in state court because they remove it.
Right.
Then the filing fee is $405.
What
But
about informa papyrus?
no, if you do that, you will get automatically dismissed, because I'll tell you why. Because they send it to a magistrate judge.
When you do informa papyrus?
Yes. And the magistrate says, this is crazy talk. And they dismiss it. That's why I'm telling you, because I've read so many of them, okay?
Yeah, I wasn't saying, I never.
Yeah, it's crazy talk.
I
It's
thought-
crazy talks. I've seen
Papyrus gives it-
more than 500, more than 600 TI cases have been dismissed because they file it in forma pauperis, and they don't realize that is the ticket to
Okay.
get it automatically dismissed.
What does that mean?
Informa papyrus is where you're just gonna show the court through a pretty non-scrutinized.
That you can't
process
afford
that
it.
You can't pay, and they pay basically for you, is kind of how. You're
So you're
too
saying they
poor.
won't accept that.
I
You have to have.
what I have read through hundreds of cases of TI cases, all sorts of cases. and they don't pass, of course, they're not Privacy Act cases. They're like airplanes or B2K or whatever, but still, it's the sure way ticket to get it dismissed. That's why I would like to see groups of people within your area to get together with 2 or 3 people and you pitch in for the $405.
So I can help
Okay.
with the DC area,
Okay.
especially with helping with. the
That's, you know,
documents.
I'll probably file mine pro se here because I'm not admitted here. So we can, you know, do it together. And so you can probably join in because it doesn't have to be, it can be in your jurisdiction. Could be in your jurisdiction or it could be in DC because it's against DOJ and FBI. But it definitely has to be in a federal court. So that's the first thing, you know, you should know, I totally do not recommend anybody going in for Mapleberries because it's a sure ticket to get dismissed. Now, so definitions, I put in there the definitions. Why? Because as we know, these people are even text messages.
Yeah.
And we know it because of Peter Stork and his girlfriend. So, you know, everything that is a recording, a video, a text message, everything, we want everything. Everything that has to do with the person asking for access to it. Now, I put the number 1 record here that you can see is the opening electronic communication document, which formally opens a case with the FBI, the notice of initiation, which formally notifies the U.S. Department of Justice of the case opening, and the watch list nomination form for the undersigned. That's the first document we need.
And this is what we're gonna be requesting.
Yeah, well, we're,
Okay.
look, we're requesting everything about you, everything
Right,
about me,
Right.
but you have to make sure that you include these things.
Can you email me a copy of
Yeah,
this?
well, this is in Targeted Justice website.
Okay.
It's, look, when you go here in legal, okay,
Okay,
it's the first tab under legal.
so we're gonna use your,
Well, you adapt it to
because
your,
you've got it pretty close though.
you
Yeah.
adapt it to your needs.
Right,
You
right.
say, I want the universe, everything that has to do with me, but make sure that you include this and you include this. For example, something else that I'm including in there is, let me show you. All the recordings, video recordings of me.
Mhm.
Do you see how they're all constantly with a phone going like that in the supermarket? Well, where do you think they end up?
Right.
There. Or at the fusion center.
Right.
Okay. So I'm asking for all correspondence, complaints, you know, it's a pretty long list.
Yeah.
All the FISA applications. Now, I want to emphasize the following. I put until December 2025, but it should really read, and I'm going to correct it, until December 2024. Because right now, I'm not certain if the FISA warrants are 3 months, 6 months, I don't know. So it should read December 31st, 2024, so that they don't say that the warrant is active. I want the past warrants, and we're gonna have to fight this because they're not gonna want to give them.
I know.
Okay, but normal people that get Article 3 court warrants have a right to look at them after they are executed.
Right, right.
My argument is, why can't we see the past warrants? And that's one of the things that we need, you know, it's not about national security, because if you don't have criminal predicate to accuse me of anything, you cannot have 10 FISA warrant renewals against me.
Right,
You
right.
see, this has got to stop at some point.
Yes, right.
Then we have all photographs, videos, images, or any other media depicting the undersigned, her body or any part thereof. A lot of women we know have been victims of revenge porn and rape that has been videotaped. I'm sure these criminals have it. And you more than anybody have a right to it.
Yes.
And there is an executive order that prohibits federal agencies from classifying documents just because they containing agency corruption and malfeasance.
Yes, there's an executive.
Okay,
order.
and that is one of the allegations that we're gonna, I'm gonna make a template, just like I made this template, I'm gonna make a template. And for people to use it, for example, the sneak and peek warrants, those are the ones that they come into your house and they throw things around and they tear your clothes.
Break apart your stuff. Or
Yeah.
whatever, yes.
So, but they had to, the criminals that went in it, yeah. So, the nomination forms, the inventory and chain of custody, many of us have had important legal documents and medical documents removed from our homes.
Right.
Well, guess where they are? They have to be at the Sentinel scanned. And they cannot say it's national security, your x-rays. They stole, for example, from me, they stole a note for cancellation from my house. They stole it. So I know that these people cannot, the perps, in order to charge the money they charge or to get paid, they have to relinquish what they took, because they wouldn't leave that stuff around, because that would be a chain, a broken link in the chain.
Chain of custody.
Yeah.
Right.
So, all of this, the communications relating to the processing of this Privacy Act request, reports, correspondence to and from any party relating to the undersigned. One of the things that we know has happened to many TIs is lawfare. And I believe that the only way
Yes.
that judges there perpetrate lawfare against TIs is because they get, this is a national security thing, letter from the
Yes, an
FBI.
NSL. Yeah.
Yeah, even in cases, something like, like, for example, I was trying to evict a criminal that destroyed my house for 8 months. And, I had no assistance from the court. So anyway, so you have there that example, and you just basically adapt it. The really important at the end, I put in there. We specifically request that you include in your sales all agency files in the illegal, restricted, and prohibited access files within the Sentinel system, because that is where they are hiding their crimes. There's also Guardian, there's also eGuardian. The statute does not give the FBI the authority to decide what files they search. And the very 2024, very important Supreme Court case called Loper Bright Enterprises versus Raimondo, that reversed the Chevron rule, which was, no, the agency has all the discretion in the world. Well, that has been eliminated. Now, the agency has to adhere to what the statute said, and the statute says all records about you, your person. We're gonna make it all with the Supreme Court, one way or the other.
So I'm happy to help out with a group. Do you guys all want to do it? We can, each of us can go ahead and modify this, and then.
You modify it. What I really
Each of our.
what I recommend is that you don't send it through their email, to their
Certified.
online. Yeah, send it a priority mail with a tracking number, because their online form has a limit, 5,000 character limit or something like that.
Right.
Okay. So anyways, one of the things that I know they're doing is the following. Thank you for that. Is that they are saying, you didn't provide enough information. That is why the introductory information should say where you have lived, because they already know it. I mean, don't think that you're telling them information that they don't know. I mean, they've been spying on you forever. They know your blood type and stuff. So just make sure that you put, and for example, in this property, and and for these names and these aliases and these emails, so that you don't give them the excuse to say you didn't provide us enough information to locate the information, because I tell you, that's what they have told to some people. Okay. And it's just a cheap excuse, because they just don't know how to deal with this. You can also You can also, and I highly recommend, I'm gonna put it in this webpage, that if you have traveled by plane since you have been targeted, that you also send your request to the TSA at the DHS, because they already made public all of the surveillance on Tulsi Gabbard.
Open skies.
Exactly, the quiet skies.
Quiet.
So if they provided it for Tulsi, they cannot discriminate against us.
Judicial Watch has a good, that's what.
Yeah,
that's what
yeah. But that's for FOIA, remember?
No, this has privacy.
Yeah.
too.
It has Privacy Act,
Yeah.
okay.
See,
Well,
it's got the Privacy Act. sample.
yeah, I have it here when you go here in the
But I'm gonna
webpage.
use yours.
When you go in here in the webpage, you can click, for example, I have the links to the statute. For example, here's the FOIA, okay?
$400. Oh, yeah.
And then you have a link to the Privacy Act down here. Oh,
That's real.
That's FOIA. Yeah, hold on. So you have them here. And then here it is. See, here it is. Let me share this one. Let me share the screen. Share screen. Here, records maintained. Okay, share. So there. Records maintained on individuals. Okay. And it's very thorough, as I explained. The people in the European community, the 27 countries, under a statute that they enacted, let me put my presentation here. The people from Europe also can file, even though you don't have the same remedies as, let me show it here.
Focusing.
As the people in the United States that, like, for example, the remedies for non-compliance is you can file a lawsuit. Because it's not just access to the information, but once we see a nomination that we're nominated as a terrorist, we can demand that they correct that, because we're not a terrorist.
Right.
And then they have 10 working days to correct it. And then if they don't give you access, or they don't correct the record, then you can go to the court and demand. And also it gives you damages of no less than $1,000 for civil
Remedy.
for legal residents and American citizens. Okay, the people in Europe only have access to getting the records, injunctive relief to get access to the records, and the correction of the records. Okay, let me show you.
So that's the difference between the remedies. For
Yeah,
Americans.
Americans have a little bit more remedies, and there's also like Americans can file them in their jurisdiction, whereas the people from Europe can only file it in DC. Okay, it's called the Judicial Redress Act. Here it is. This is what gives the people from European Union the right to file a Privacy Act request. So I am asking all of you in Europe to do the same. Okay, file your Privacy Act request. And let's get the pressure going, because
Yeah.
that's what these people, they weren't the ones that created the system, but they are maintaining it. Like I explained in my Substack this week, I was in a hearing, and like 2 meters.
Which hearing did you go to?
I went to the hearing where Christine Owen was, which was very good, because they mentioned
That it's not an accident. That wasn't an accident. You talking about that one?
no, she said she was
Unfortunate accident. That wasn't an accident. It was a terrorist attack, she said.
well, she was, one of the things that came out really good from her was that the guy from Illinois, the representative from Illinois, was insulted her and said, I demand that you withdraw right now and then you quit. And she said, well, coming from you, that's a compliment. It's like It's a reassurance that I'm doing my job really good. And so, what I was shocked at myself really was that within 2 meters of me was Michael Glasheen, who is the FBI criminal that is the director of the Terror Screening Center. And I was like, I just feel sorry for him because when you are such an evil criminal that have 5-year-olds in a terrorist list
Yeah.
for them to be tortured,
No, I
you
know.
have to be a really
Something
unhappy
has to be
person.
wrong with you.
Yeah.
Something has to.
And he's really not smart at all. They asked him a couple of questions and he just came across as so unintelligent that I just felt sorry for him.
Kind of like
So,
that NSA guy who, when they asked, remember the guy who was said we don't spy on American citizens. Remember with the Snowden disclosure.
yeah, right.
He was being questioned about whether the NSA monitors Americans, and well, no.
Well, it's a problem because the NSA doesn't have leadership right now and it's gonna take a long time. I don't know what's going on with the people that Trump nominates, but anyways. So South America, no, I'm sorry to tell you, South America. The United States Congress has not extended the right to people from South America to file Privacy Act requests. Not yet, okay? A church pastor, well, look, I'm going to answer questions relating to this. I'm not gonna go into matters that don't have to do with this because the purpose of this meeting is to help you. Look, we're trying to shut down a program. We're trying to shut down torture weapons. Um, it's not an individual thing, it's a group thing. Everybody needs to do their part, you know? You need to file your documents and and one of the things that really gets me, it's like there's people doing all sorts of videos and stuff for social media, and they don't realize that unless you're talking about, like, for example, cognitive liberty, you've all seen it, right?
I did watch the
documentary.
Yeah, he did a good job on
You
that.
did a really good job. Did you watch it?
Some with that.
But it's very well presented. And did you watch it, Rebecca?
Yes.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was very well done.
It's well done. Yeah, I think you were in it too, right?
No, I
Now you are.
no.
But the thing is that that's the kind of narrative that we want to put up there
Right.
because it doesn't sound delusional, it doesn't sound crazy. And I know that a lot of people are very, very broken, and
It's true. Yeah.
we're all very broken in some sense, but we have to put our best face if we need to shut down this program,
Sometimes.
because otherwise nobody's gonna pay attention to us. And that's why I just, if there's any way I could convey that, talking about the things that we know happen, but that to normal people sound outrageous, doesn't help. It doesn't help anybody.
That's not.
The same way with listening to your B2K, you have to stop doing that because that's how you get the forced speech and that's how you get your limbs moving around, because the more you listen and react and repeat it, the more brain entrainment they perpetrate. And the reason I know that is because Dr. Lambert has explained it to me. I'm not a scientist. So let me check the questions here. Okay, so the Europeans can do it. Where to file the lawsuit? You can file it in your jurisdiction. Get a couple of people. We already have a little group in Nebraska. I already have a little group in California. I'm sure I can get Eva and some people in Oregon. So we need we need little groups around the nation. Okay. I would not, I wouldn't complicate it. I really wouldn't complicate it, and I'd like to get your feedback on this. We can just ask for $1,000 nominal damages, but not going to, because this is not through a Privacy Act request is not how you're gonna get compensated for your torture.
Right.
Okay, so you can all ask for nominal minimum 1,000 or whatever the court deems appropriate.
Right.
That's the language that should be in there. Because the purpose of this, and for those of you that haven't gotten it, the purpose of this is for you to obtain clear evidence of the illegalities perpetrated by the FBI and the rest of the agencies against you.
Partnering
Okay.
businesses that work with them.
And that's why they are going to resist. That is the purpose of this exercise. I think that Mr. Patel has his public expressions bind him to be forthcoming. Okay. And so that's one thing. The other thing is that the president, for example, if they have disclosed the surveillance they have done on the senators,
Right. Then it also needs to be.
they have to disclose that it's surveillance.
Precedent, right?
Exactly, because you cannot discriminate. It's, you know, everybody, it's equal rights under the law. You cannot say, oh, no, they have more privilege than you just because they're politicians. No. They are invoking, they're invoking their protected status as senators. But the outrage is because of the illegal surveillance and the Fourth Amendment. So that's what, we need to get going on that. The remedies for, okay, the Europeans are also limited only to designated federal agencies, but fortunately, among the agencies that the Europeans can ask for the Privacy Act request are DOJ, FBI, which is within DOJ, and DHS, which is where you have TSA and Homeland Security. So that's, I don't see that as a problem. And obviously it has to be for the District of Columbia, and the exhaustion of remedies. Even though the Privacy Act does not require that you file an appeal and exhaust the administrative remedies, some courts have had, for the Europeans, it's automatic. They have to exhaust their remedies. And what that means is you have to file an appeal. Targeted Justice is going to be putting samples of appeals on the webpage for your benefit. It's not legal advice. You are advised to consult with an attorney if you can, or do it pro se. But for the people that are here in the United States, they can file anywhere, in their local courts.
We can do it right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Can do it right here.
Um,
Are you interested in just the Privacy Act?
I have reservations on the applicability of certain issues in my case and the ability to find a lawyer. Can't find anyone to represent me on any issue.
Yeah,
except to extort money from me.
Nobody can find a lawyer. I can understand that. I cannot represent people here because I am not admitted here. However, I will file mine pro se, and you could join, and you can join mine because, this, we need to get the information under the control of the FBI, which is who started, well, this is a CIA criminal program. It all starts at the FBI with a nomination form.
Right.
And that's where we have to start,
Right.
So,
And the Privacy Act is a remedy for individuals. I mean,
Yes.
it's not like, it's like the FOIA Act, and then there's the Privacy Act. It's not like you're not required to have a lawyer, right? I mean, you can.
no, for neither, you don't need a lawyer. You can do it pro se. That is why I want people to take this into your own hands. This is about fighting for your freedom. And this is 2 years ago, we didn't have this opportunity.
I know.
2 years ago, we didn't have knowledge of the prohibited access and the restricted access files. In fact, Targeted Justice tried to reopen the Privacy Act part of its case in TJV Garland, and we got slapped in the face because the repercussions of what Chuck Grassley has exposed are huge. And I'm sure he didn't even know the door he was opening. It was Pandora's box for everybody. But now that it's open, they cannot put the lid back on it. They can't.
Elaborate there. What do you mean with Chuck Grassley?
Well, he declassified an electronic communication from the FBI that expressed that there are hidden files called the prohibited access and the restricted access files. And what happens is, for example, Ed Martin, who is the pardon attorney at DOJ, who is supposed to be working against the deweaponization of the government, he said this is a huge problem because, for example, the Brady files, when you are accused of a crime, you're supposed to be handed over all exculpatory evidence.
Yes, yes.
As targeted individuals, we know that there are a lot of TIs that have been entrapped into crimes,
Yeah.
lots of them. Yet they were not given this evidence that they were illegally placed on this list. So this is going to be a huge floodgate because, you know, I'm just going to give you an example of how they tried to entrap me, which I thought it was like so ridiculous. But any other person, remember, you're going mind control, right? So my house, the criminal took over and would not leave, and the court would not evict him.
This is here in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico. And I was in this bar.
How long ago?
This happened in 2021.
21,
Yeah.
so 4 years ago.
Started, yeah, in 21. And I was there, but just listen to this. I mean, I was going hungry, and I was in a bar, and some guy, and this was all a setup amongst them. Okay, look, her house, there's a guy there, he doesn't want to leave. And then the guy pulls out this huge gun and says, who do we have to kill? I'm like, no, oh my God, no. But if it had been any other person who is not a Christian and a moral person and an attorney, would have said, yeah, go beat him up. You know what I mean? And that's how they entrap you. You know what I mean? But for the grace of God, I'm like, oh my God, I ran out of there, you know? But that is how they entrap people. And also, like I mentioned in the prior live stream, for example, if you're having an encounter with the police, they will be microwaving you to
Right.
raise your aggressivity.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why you have to just take a breath, step back, and not react. Let me give you an example. You know, we all know that J6ers are targeted individuals. I think that's, we can all stipulate it, right? They were researched and then they were entrapped, literally.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether you agree with them or not, there was a praying mother there, a praying grandma. She was praying the rosary and she got arrested.
Yeah, I was here during that. Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so but here's what happens. One of the guys, his name is Matthew Huddleston, may he rest in peace. He was pardoned by President Trump. And we get silent hits, right? We have a video of a silent hit in Targeted Justice.
Oh, the one with Armando.
Armando,
That was
yeah.
an interesting video.
And the cop admitted to him, yeah, you're on the list, Okay, so they will stop you, and some will be nice, but some will harass you. And that's what happened to Matthew Huddleston. He was talking to the guy for 10 minutes, and then he ran to his truck to kill himself because he didn't want to go back to jail. He was so traumatized. And
From the way they got treated inside of DC.
exactly. And then the sheriff shot him because the sheriff thought he was going to shoot him. All of this would have been avoided if he wasn't on the list, if that sheriff didn't get a silent hit on him.
And the amount of resource that's put into all these
Exactly.
targets and good that could be done with it.
And there's 4 that committed suicide, 4 G6ers. So what we're talking here, and then we have our own people from our community, like Adam Garcia, who left a little girl orphaned because he couldn't bear it anymore. So the repercussions are going to be huge, and I can understand why the FBI is going to try to.
Girl, what do you mean?
He had a little girl and he died.
Oh,
yeah,
suicide.
He had an overdose. Yeah. So
it's a horrible.
I have promised that I'm going to seek justice for that little girl and for him.
And the little,
because I talked to him. He texted me, and he texted me when Judge Rosenthal dismissed our case. And
Oh, so you wanted the 18?
no, but he was all the time, and right, our case got dismissed on the 11th, and on the 12th he was placed. He had to be taken to a hospital on an emergency because of an overdose. And then when he came out, I talked to him, or I don't know, but the thing is that he is one person that should not be dead. He should not be dead. He was a wonderful guy, and anyways, like him, there are many others.
My uncle's a state.
Because the goal of this program, as many of you know, is to make you take your own life. So,
Yeah.
and that for that, I commend you all. I commend you all that we are warriors and that we're here
Yeah.
because we have withstood the most horrific military grade weaponry, torture, and everything. So now the time has come. Oh, everything. I had fake cancers, I had everything. But what I want, hola Gabi, love you. What I want is for people to please go into, I'm gonna be updating information. If you write to me, please, I have a guy that since November 16 has sent me 1,290 emails. Please don't do that. That's, that,
Too much.
no. It's, why would anybody do that?
It's a cry for help, but,
Yeah.
or someone wanting to be disruptive, one or the other.
I want to help everybody.
Torture is tough. I mean, I can see somebody just kind of getting into a zone of, and that's what ends up happening. It's like you're on a hamster on a wheel, and you don't know what.
Jonathan, but here's the thing, I'm here to help everybody, you know? If you do that to me, I'm warning you, I'll either block you or put you in spam, so don't do it.
Right.
Because if you ever want to hear from me, don't do that kind of thing. I'm gonna just block you. And I'm here to help everybody. I know that, for those people, I have seen the torture on Dr. Lambert, and I have never seen anything like that in anybody. So for anybody that comes to tell me that they're the most targeted person in the world, I'm sorry. I have witnessed torture,
Right.
and it's not pretty,
No.
So I'm not minimizing anybody's plight because the way these criminals do it is that they did a menu pursuant to what they thought were your weaknesses. Okay, it's a customized menu by these Mengele doctors at the CIA. With your type of personality, they decide what they thought would get you to kill yourself.
No.
Yeah.
Something else.
Yeah, that's it. It was that's why they study. That's why before they start the electronic thing, they do the research on you. They alienate your families and friends,
Yep.
so that when the electronic attack comes,
got
you have nobody to go to, okay, and nobody to help you.
And then when you try to get help, people think you're nuts.
You're crazy.
You can't explain
Exactly.
it. You're not
Because they have already been either bought out or mind controlled. So, anyways, no, okay, so let me just check here. Do you have any questions here?
No, if anybody.
Well,
wants-
after we can talk after, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of the thing. Yeah, let me just check, if there are any questions here. I'm gonna cut it because we've already been here for an hour, and I just wanted to provide you with the information and convey to you how important this is. I want that by December 31st, everybody will have sent their Privacy Act request. I already put in there the request for dispute resolution. As soon as they say no, I'm gonna be working on a draft appeal. And like I say, it's not, I'm not practicing law in the United States. I'm just putting there what I would write for myself. You take it or leave it, and you read the statute and you decide if you're gonna be, if it works for you or not. I'm just trying to help people be advocates for themselves. Because I think that if we have at least 20 of these cases going
In different jurisdictions.
in different
different
courts,
venues, yes.
yes, so,
Someone might open the gates. once.
exactly.
Depend on the judge.
So, yeah, if there's criminals, yeah, look, I also always assume that there are criminals listening in. Um, but we have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide. I have said it many times. I was targeted for more than 20 years. They had microphones, they had cameras on me, and they could never, even in the most intimate, private place of my house, they couldn't nail me for anything. So don't think that they can, everything I put out there, it's fair game. My name is Tony. I wanted to share my story. Tony, well, you can try to reach out to Chosen Heroes, because we're not, I'm not doing individual interviews of people because everybody's story I know is horrific, and nobody should be undergoing this in the most free nation in the world,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
With the most protective constitution in the entire world. Nowhere in the world do they have a Second Amendment like ours, a First Amendment, a Fourth Amendment, a
Amendment.
Fifth, an Eighth. Nobody in the world. Yet, for us, it doesn't apply. It's on hold. So, we're fighting for everybody. And please remember, you are an ambassador of this community. The way you behave percolates to the rest. So try to behave in your most cohesive and self-controlled way, because if we want people to listen to us, we need to behave in a manner consistent with that plea.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to listen to us if we are not speaking coherently and reasonably. I know there are things that are horrific that we cannot, but we cannot just mention them. We can't talk about them because people don't, normies don't understand or don't believe it. And they will only think, oh, this person is crazy. Because it's actually really very crazy the things they do.
It's part of the psyops that they put out there.
Having, like today I went to the supermarket. I went to return a product from Amazon. And the woman was literally, with a camera. I'm like, what's the problem? But that's the kind of thing that if you say to somebody, it's like, no, it's, you're making this up, but you can tell that it's not. So it's best to stick to what we know, which is that people have been illegally placed on lists that should not even exist. Because if there is a crime happening in front of you, go arrest the person. But don't put them in a forever list without statute of limitations, without time for removal, renewing these illegal FISA warrants that violate the Fourth Amendment. Hopefully now that these people got spied upon
Congress.
in Congress, well,
Senate.
is the cancer they gave us curable? Get a second opinion. Maybe you don't even have cancer like me. They told me I had cancer. They subjected me to a lumpectomy and 6 weeks of radiotherapy, and it was a lie. And one doctor told me, one of the other criminal doctors said to me, that cancer of yours. And I was really convinced. Yeah, it was so. Love you, Gabby. I know you've been burned. I've been seeing your. Okay, again, let me repeat this because I said it at the gavel, and for those of you that didn't watch the gavel,
I watched your last one.
Yeah.
I was actually.
if you go to the hospital, do not bring with you targeted justice flyers. You only give them to emergency clinics when you're just giving them away. Like the way I do it is, here, I brought you this because you might see this kind of injury and you might not know where it's coming from. This might give you an idea, research it. But if you are going in there, first of all, they have no diagnostic criteria for directed energy weapons attacks. You're wasting your time unless it's a real emergency. And what can happen is what we knew last week happened to 2 people. They were put on a hold, the 72-hour hold.
After cold.
Yes.
They can do that.
So
here.
you don't want to do that. The other thing that Richard learned this week is that some people seem to be using psychedelic mushrooms, whatever, for their V2K. The problem with that is, and that's why I never did drugs in my life, is because I cannot trust my brain to a criminal. So it seems that they're lacing it with fentanyl, and the guy died. Yeah, yeah, one TI
I
died.
saw that in the news, yeah.
Yeah, so you know,
From psilocybin.
no, it was laced with fentanyl and he, yeah. So, you know, do not trust people that are not trustworthy. That is my advice to you. That's why I never did drugs because I didn't want to give my brain to some unscrupulous person. Okay. And love you. Thank you, Jeff. Question: do you think it's gonna take the Holy Spirit to destroy? Well, the only thing I know is this: that I think that God is on our side. If He wasn't, I wouldn't be here. My path getting here was truly miraculous. So I really I really trust that God is on our side and wants this shut down. And the devil is really very angry because I think we are making progress. With every door I knock and with every person I talk to is one more person that already knows about this. And here's my thing: once they know about it, they can't ignore it.
Yeah, not
You know what I mean? They can't ignore it because these are crimes against humanity. So
sure.
that is why I want to thank. I have 15 affidavits of people diagnosed with Havana syndrome. If you have not sent me your affidavit, please consider sending it to me under confidential terms. It does not mean that you will be included in the civilian registry if you don't want to. I just need the evidence. I would love to meet with Catherine Hadridge and show it to her because she's a journalist that refuses to acknowledge civilian victims. She thinks Havana syndrome is only about federal employees. So I want to have these in my hands when I bump into her, like have them in my bag when I bump into her. And also when I bump into the senators or the representatives that need to see, one already has them. I'm gonna continue giving them, but I am counting on you. Those of you, if you already sent it to me, I'll make copies, but those of you that have not sent it to me, please consider sending it to me. I will keep it under confidentiality and I promise that I will only show it to Congress people and to reputable reporters, if I can get to meet with, say, John Solomon or Catherine Hadridge or James O'Keefe or somebody who is reputable and will respect your privacy. So please do that because you're doing it for you and for everybody in this community. Once the word is out there that it's not just federal employees, the
Yes.
government is
Yes.
forced to protect. Right now, Christine Owen, the Department of Homeland Security is not protecting its citizens
Right.
because we are being attacked in our nation.
And what would the logic be that whomever's doing it would only do it to government employees? Give me a break. I mean,
Well, because they were saying it was Russia and China, but Targeted Justice,
right? It's,
we published this week a newsletter explaining how it cannot be Russia and China because it would be an act of war. There are low flying satellites that would detect the signals if they were coming from Russia or China or any other foreign government. So that is why the CIA admitted that there are no foreign entities involved. The problem is they don't want to acknowledge that civilians are involved, are victims. That's where it's all gonna fall apart for them. So I really urge you, if you have not sent me your affidavit, please consider doing it. Because I am fighting here for each and every one of you, the diagnosed ones and the non-diagnosed ones. We want to force NIH through Dr. Landberg's petition. We want to force NIH to issue diagnostic guidance for Havana syndrome so that even a doctor in Oregon can diagnose you. Right now, that does not exist. because they're all going to Dr. Michael Hoffer, who, by the way, has been prohibited from by the government from continue to diagnose civilian patients, and which is completely illegal, but anyways.
Is there another doctor that you can go through?
Yes, let me share it. I'm gonna share it with you. The other doctors, when you go to, let me put here the share the page, because many people have asked me for this. And I want to show you where you can find it in the Targeted Justice webpage. You go to medical, you go to Dr. Len Bear, and then here's the petition to the NIH to recognize Savannah syndrome, and then to the CDC to do epidemiological studies. But down here is the doctors, they're here. And I want to show you, hold on, they're here. These are the doctors.
cards.
Okay, so all you have to do is go to the Targeted Justice website and you have them there. Okay,
New Jersey.
California, Florida, New Jersey, and Miami. Okay, now I also want you to, if you are going to get diagnosed, I would like for you to listen in to Dr. Len Bear's space, that we have a space in our channel. Let me just put it here. So Real Targeted Justice, please subscribe to our Rumble channel.
Yeah, I signed up now for Rumble and Truth Social. So how would I subscribe? How do you do that?
Just here, just follow here.
I
Okay,
found with Dr. Len Bear, you have to be a paying subscriber to see any of his content. Otherwise, all you get is his headline.
really,
Yeah.
Dr. Bear? Okay, but not in our Rumble channel. And so in our Rumble channel, let me share this one. Let me just share, stop sharing this, stop sharing, or even from stage. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get to this page in our Rumble channel. Okay, share. So this is our Rumble channel, and then you go for the channels.
And then you probably have to be logged into your Rumble.
No. This, I'm not logged in here. I'm not logged in here. And the channels, because it's the criminals, you go to TJ Spaces. Okay. And there you have the Havana Syndrome deep dive with Dr. Len Bear there. Okay. So I'm not going to start that now, but this here, Dr. Bear explained how, when you're going to go see one of these doctors, you don't go there and say, I'm being attacked with directed energy weapons, I'm a targeted individual, I have no. You just go in there and listen to it and explain, and he explains how to present yourself to the doctor so that you have a productive, okay. So anyways, look, this channel has all these resources. All these resources we have tried, and we have tried to make it so that people have it's a one place where you have all these interviews. Look at these channels. They have the Gavels, the Chosen Heroes. You have all these interviews, and then you have the French, you have Japanese, Brazil, it's all information that
Rumble channel.
This is our Rumble channel. Yeah, we're growing the YouTube channel, but it's when I don't know about you, but when I first got targeted, I didn't know where to go to learn about this. I remember, and I was very grateful to Doug Jones, because he had that gang stalking show, and he only had a few shows, and I would watch him over and over again because I just needed to learn every single little thing that was available.
Right.
But this channel has really good information from Dr. Mihal Cha, interviews with Maria Z, interviews, the symposiums, for people. There's the 10 translations to 10 different languages of Dominic's documentary. There are the symposiums with attorneys and medical doctors. If your family doesn't believe you, you just have to share one of these with them, you know? So there, it's a free resource for people to take advantage of it.
Right, right.
Okay. So anyways, I think that I think we're set. I don't know if you have any other questions. Hi Judy, nice to see you here. Yeah, well, we are growing again, the YouTube channel. You know, we know that YouTube is there now, but might not be there tomorrow because we know how they operate. So that's why we have the Rumble channel. TikTok banned us, and I don't know if it's the criminals or the real TikTok people, but so I really urge you. One of the good things, what did you do today on your targeting? Take clips from Dominic's Cognitive Liberty Mind Control documentary and put them in TikTok. All of you TikTokers out there, because I barely have time to do all the stuff I do, and that would really help us spread the word, which is what we want. Okay. Note in it's the USA. It's not Russia or China. We know that. Okay. Well, since I don't have any more questions here, let me see. I don't have any more questions here. Thank you everybody for being here. We have a lot of people in attendance. Actually, let me check in the Rumble channel if the messages here. Hold on. Anna, everything is spread across so many platforms. It's too hard. Well, you know what? We're doing our best. We are trying to provide the information. All you have to do is look for it on the computer. I don't think complaining about it is a good thing.
A central database
No.
or compilation of all, that must be about the privacy requests.
Oh, yeah.
About-
No, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that central database because I'm not gonna make it easy for the criminals to go around manipulating things. We can't do that. I'm sorry.
Also, each.
No, we're gonna keep it in little groups, in little separate groups, so that it's harder for the criminals to do their little shenanigans, because we know they are going to try their hardest. But the law is clear, the Privacy Act is very clear. You have a right to every single document about you, except if it's like a ongoing law enforcement investigation, which they cannot say it is, and in preparation for a civil lawsuit against you, which they cannot say it is. The statute is clear, and they cannot come invoke the national security that they do in FOIA, because this is about you. You have a right to confront all this evidence against you, supposedly. Okay. The Privacy Act, just look for targetedjustice.com. Okay. And okay, well, I'm gonna stay here for a little while with our group, and I'll see you next year. Oh my God, this year has gone by. It is so cold here. And I promised that I wasn't gonna ever live in a cold place again, but this is where God
This is
brought
not
me.
that cold.
It is cold for me.
Haven't you ever been
Puerto
to
Rico.
Chicago? Okay, Puerto Rico.
I'm from Puerto Rico, and Houston was not so bad. So anyways, thank you everybody for being here, and I'll be waiting for you on Wednesday in the gavel. Don't miss Melissa tomorrow in her Chosen Heroes. And let's just keep up the good fight. Thank you, Judy. Love you. Let's keep up the good fight. We are in mile 23, and I'm not kidding you, of this marathon. We're gonna make it. Love you all. Bye-bye.